Chapter 12, Get Rich Overnight. New talent function unlocked. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The molten flame demon's huge arms began to dig into the emerald green crystal on the cave wall. Maybe the temperature on its body is too high. Lin Yi discovered that part of the emerald green crystal stone close to its body began to vaporize. Lin Yi felt a little distressed. Stop immediately. The molten flame demon's two pupils were burning with flames, showing an extremely human expression, like a child who made a mistake, but it looks so big and scary, and the contrast is very cute. Lin Yi was helpless. He knew that the molten fire demon didn't do it on purpose. But then he directed the Balrog to start digging from the rock formations around the crystal stone on the cave wall, and there was no problem. It didn't take long, and soon the large cluster of emerald green crystals was mined along with some rocks. Lin Yi cleaned out some water and food from the portable space, and then put them into his own portable space. Later, Lin Yi sent the molten flame demon back to the elemental plane, and then crushed the scroll of return to the city. After a while, the world was spinning. Lin Yi opened his eyes again and found that he had returned to Jiangqing's teleportation hall. After walking out of the teleportation hall, Lin Yi walked straight home. Lin Yi planned to go to the trading house to take a look at the spiritual objects in the backpack and the things dropped by the Tiger King tomorrow. After returning home, Lin Yi and his parents had a simple meal. After dinner, go back to your room. Lin Yi opened the panel. The balance of skill points that he had almost squandered this morning actually had an extra 40,000 to 50,000 points at this moment. This feeling that someone is sending resources to me all the time is stable happiness. Today I got a new wind skill. Do you want to add up the skills of this department to see the effect? Reason told him that with one more series of skills, his choices would definitely be wider, and his actual combat effectiveness would definitely be improved even more, especially after seeing the terrifying destructive power of the 7th level spell Sky Flame Dragon Breath. Lin Yi has fallen in love with the feeling of destroying everything with a flip of his hand. 7th level fire spells are already so powerful. So what will a 7th level wind spell look like? Lin Yi secretly made up his mind. Anyway, it would only take more than 100,000 skill points to increase to level 7, one more day of idle time is enough. The next day, Lin Yi also got up very early. One night passed, and the skill point balance approached 100,000 points. It is estimated that by noon, I will be able to add a wave of super points to the new wind skills and level up quickly. Before that, Lin Yi planned to go shopping in the Life and Career Street first and sell the large cluster of emerald green crystals he dug yesterday to see how much he could get for it. Then go to the trading house to see if you can find a few wizard-type skill books. Finally, go to the job transfer sanctuary, receive the second transfer mission. After the second turn, I should unlock more new skills. With such a plan, Lin Yi went out and soon came to Jiangqing Life Professional Shopping Street. Lin Yi found the best appraiser on this street. He planned to first identify what the emerald green crystal he got in the cave yesterday was, and then roughly know its value, so that when he sold it, he would not be cheated by profiteers. Young man, are you trying to identify something? A gentle old man with white hair and beard, wearing glasses, looked at Lin Yi with a smile. This is the most respected appraiser in the entire Jiangqing Life and Career Street. Lin Yi nodded and took out a small piece of emerald green crystal from the portable space. As soon as the crystal appeared, Lin Yi felt a cool breeze starting to blow in the hall of the appraisal shop. The smile on the old man's face froze for a moment, then it got serious. Young man, what you have in your hand is incredible. Can you let me see it? Lin Yi nodded and handed the crystal to the old man. The old man adjusted the glasses on the bridge of his nose and began to look at them carefully. At the same time, the light of the identification technique also lit up one after another. Soon, the old man looked at Lin Yi in amazement. Incredible, such pure wind spirit rock essence is really rare. Lin Yi's heart moved. This thing was originally called foamling rock marrow. This kind of mineral vein type spiritual object that is rich in elements depends not only on the purity, but also on the size of the one-time shot. Young man, what you showed me should be just a small sample. You should have the entire crystal mine on hand. If it is large and the purity is as high as this sample. Before the old man could finish speaking, Lin Yi took out a whole piece of emerald crystal or weighing 20 or 30 kilograms. The old man who was giving Lin Yi an estimate just now suddenly took a breath of air and was stunned. I almost didn't even come up with a breath, so I sent him away. After a long while, the old man calmed down and then said, "Young man, such a large piece of foamling rock marrow cannot be estimated by market price. It is already considered a collection. You'd better go to a store that specializes in recycling spiritual objects and ask. Don't sell it to a trading house. The trading house can only weigh it and recycle it according to the market price. You will sell it for a lot less money." Lin Yi thanked the old man. After paying the appraisal fee, he put the foamling marrow back into his backpack and continued shopping in the Life and Career Street. More than half an hour later, Lin Yi walked out of a store called Jinbao Pavilion. This is a shop that specializes in recycling natural treasures and spiritual objects, similar to the antique shop that Lin Yi was familiar with in his previous life. At this moment, he had an extra VIP black card of this national chain treasure pavilion in his pocket. There were also 120,000 daxia coins in the card. After selling the collection-level foamling rock marrow, the enthusiastic boss even gave Lin Yi an extra 10,000 daxia coins. According to the boss, this 10,000 is just to make friends. If Lin Yi has such good things in the future, he must come to him. He will definitely buy it at a price much higher than the market price. Until he walked out of the store, Lin Yi himself was a little confused. How did he suddenly become rich? Daxia is currently one of the strongest countries in Blue Star. The value and circulation rate of its currency are both frighteningly high. 120,000 daxia coins are indeed a lot of money. Lin Yi's father, Lin Guodong, worked hard in the mine for 3 or 4 years, and maybe he could only earn this amount. Ding. It is detected that the currency you hold exceeds 100,000 for the first time. Your SSS level talent, Gift of the Gods, has unlocked a new function. A prompt sounded in Lin Yi's mind. New function. Lin Yi quickly opened his talent interface. Soon Lin Yi understood what the so-called new function was. Gift of the Gods. Effect. You gain 1 skill point per second. New function. Now you can spend the currency circulating in the real world to purchase a 24-hour idle skill point reward. Note that every time you purchase an idle skill point reward, the amount of currency required for the next purchase will increase. The current currency required for one purchase, 10,000 daxia coins. Chapter 13, Spend the Money, It's Awesome. Wind System Upgrade. Flying Skills. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Lin Yi obtained the Gift of the Gods before, he noticed that it had a note, that is, as his experience increases or his strength increases, more functions will be unlocked. It seems that becoming rich is also a kind of strength increase. In any case, this new function makes Lin Yi's eyes light up. After trying the pleasure of using high-level skills to level up and kill instantly, Lin Yi actually felt a little bit uncomfortable every second waiting for the skill points to be issued. Now this function is simply a timely help. Spending money to buy skill points is now equivalent to spending money to buy time. As we all know, your time is very valuable. Krypton Gold, cool. It seems that I have to put making money on the agenda in the future. Lin Yi did not hesitate and planned to spend all the money directly, leaving at most a small amount. Anyway, this money was earned by chance, and as his subsequent strength increases, it should only get easier and easier to earn more than 100,000. Lin Yi opened the talent interface and chose to spend Krypton Gold to buy idle rewards. Do you want to spend 10,000 daxia coins to purchase 24-hour skill point benefits? Lin Yi chose yes without hesitation. Ding! You have obtained the talent, 24-hour idle reward of the Gift of the Gods, 86,400 skill points. At the same time, the mobile phone in Lin Yi's pocket also vibrated. It prompted that 10,000 daxia coins were deducted from his card. Continue. Ding! You have obtained the talent, 24-hour idle reward of the Gift of the Gods, 86,400 skill points. Ding! You have obtained the talent, 24-hour idle reward of the Gift of the Gods, 86,400 skill points. Ding! You have obtained the talent, 24-hour idle reward of the Gift of the Gods, 86,400 skill points. Lin Yi didn't know how many times he clicked. He stopped until the prompt said that the balance was insufficient. Like many garbage idle mobile games, the option of spending resources to purchase idle rewards will continue to increase in price. The first time was 10,000 Dacia coins, the second time, it will be 15,000. The subsequent increase is even more severe. Lin Yi flipped through the records and bought it for the last time. He even spent more than 40,000 Dacia coins directly. Hiss, Lin Yi didn't feel heartbroken before. He felt it was worth it to speed up the process of upgrading his skills, but when he really saw his 6-digit bank card balance, it turned into 3 digits at the speed of light. He still felt heartbroken. I'm back, that familiar poor life. Lin Yi could only turn to open his personal panel. Fortunately, the skill point balance column gave him great comfort. Currently allocable skill points, 425,821. There are more than 400,000 balances again. Lin Yi opened his skill page again. It takes 500,000 skill points to upgrade the 7th level Sky Flame Dragon Breath to the 8th level, which is obviously not enough now, and Lin Yi currently thinks that the 7th level Sky Flame Dragon Breath is enough, and now these skill points should be added to the blade. Lin Yi opened the Wind skill Wind blade that he had just learned yesterday, in the point adding interface. He started the familiar operation again. Click, 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 click. Then the reminder sound of ding 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 came in his mind. Consume 500 skill points, your Wind blade skill is upgraded, and you get a new spell, Wind Break. Consume 2000 skill points, your Wind Break is upgraded, and you get a new spell, Wind 9 Blades. Consume 5000 skill points, your Wind 9 Blades is upgraded, and you get a new spell, Storm Cyclone. Consume 10,000 skill points, your Storm Cyclone is upgraded, and you get a new spell, Wind Wings. Consume 50,000 skill points, your Wind Wings is upgraded, and you get a new spell, Swift Wind Flash. Consume 100,000 skill points, your Swift Wind Flash is upgraded, and you get a new spell, Shocking Thousand Storms. In less than half a day, Lin Yi's Wind skill set has expanded from 1 to 7, and Lin Yi looked through these skills. Suddenly, I felt that all the magic of the Wind system has very obvious characteristics. If the Fire system is simply high damage, then the Wind system has speed, multi-stage attacks, a small amount of control and some auxiliary capabilities. The most obvious is speed and multi-stage attacks. The 3rd level Fire system spell is called Triple Flame Spear. It is to summon 3 long spears condensed by flames from the sky to pierce and burn the enemy. The damage level is already high among the fire magic that Lin Yi has mastered so far, with 3 levels, and the 7th level spell Sky Flame Dragon Breath actually only has the high damage of the Dragon Breath and the subsequent long-lasting burning damage, but the 3rd level Wind spell, Gale 9 Slashes, fires 9 extremely fast wind blades in 0.5 seconds. Finally, the 7th level Jingtao Qianlan Po, can inflict thousands of attacks on targets within the affected range every second. However, what surprised Lin Yi the most were the 2 new skills of the 5th and 6th levels, Gale Wings, type, active skill, level, 5th level, class, wind, consumption, 500 mana/second, singing time, 1.5 seconds, cooling time, 5 minutes, effect. Gather the power of wind elements to wrap your body, making it impossible for others to see through your true image. The wind element will also form a pair of wind wings, giving you the ability to fly at high speeds. At the same time, the wind group surrounding you will block 3 long-range attacks for you. Note that the attack intensity that the wind group can block cannot exceed level 4, and after 3 blocking effects are used, the flying ability disappears. Remarks: the strong winds are gathering, asking me to ascend to the clouds. Flying skills. The flying skill that Lin Yi longed for. As a human being, who doesn't have a dream to fly into the sky? Unexpectedly, wind magic actually has such a spell that allows the mage to fly in the sky without the help of flying pets. However, the threshold for level 5 is still quite high, but it's been great. For other professions, I heard that you have to reach at least level 6 before this profession skill will provide flying ability accordingly. As for another effect attached to this skill, Lin Yi also felt familiar. Blocks ranged attacks. Isn't this Brother Suozi's wind wall? Face the blast. As for the 6th level skill, flash of swift wind, it is more like a swordsman, flash of swift wind, type, active skills, level 6, department, wind system, consumption, 15,000 mana, singing time, instant, cooling time, 1 hour, requires melee weapons, effect. Use the violent wind element to strengthen your own speed and the attack speed of melee weapons to the extreme, and suddenly perform a very fast sprint attack in one direction. During sprinting, your dodge probability increases by 100%. After the sprint is over, you will cause 99 melee weapon attack damage to all targets on the sprint path, and each damage will be additionally added with 1 wind attribute cutting damage. Maximum sprint distance, 10 meters, maximum sprint speed, 10 times the speed of sound, note, watch carefully, this knife will be very handsome. Chapter 14 God Level Identification Technique. The All-Seeing Eye. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The moment Lin Yi saw this skill, he felt that it was definitely a cool and stylish skill, just like the countless animations he had watched in his previous life. A swordsman who pursues speed all his life, he drew his sword and rushed forward, and before the enemy could react, he had already slashed more than a dozen times. Then he sheathed the sword, the enemy behind him slowly fell down. It was really cool. Why is this skill in the mage's skill set? I am a mage, and I have to wear a melee weapon to use this skill, although the staff is also a melee weapon, but if you let me use the staff to hit the opponent nearly 100 times, it would be very inconsistent. Lin Yi was walking and looking at his new skills. At this moment, he just came to the city center of Jiangqing. Here are the most critical functional departments of the entire Jiangqing city. Lin Yi saw the most imposing building with the largest flow of people, with 5 big words written on it, Daxia Trading House. Like Daxia Bank, Daxia Trading House is also a state-owned functional department supported by Daxia officials. The trading chain covers the entire Daxia. However, Jiangqing is only a level 5 base city. It cannot be said that the branch in such a small place has no connection with the headquarters. It can only be said that there is almost no connection. The circulating goods and prices are basically regulated by Jiangqing itself. Walking into the door of the trading house and passing through the bustling crowd, Lin Yi came to a self-service trading window. Since the Cataclysm era, the development of spiritual crystal technology in various countries on Blue Star has been very mature. The self-service trading window in the trading house is the culmination of all. There is no one at each self-service window, only the blue spiritual crystal suspended in the air, just like when Lin Yi participated in the job transfer ceremony. This is the first time Lin Yi has come here. He looked at how others operated it, and soon understood how to use the thing in front of him. This spiritual crystal, as long as you touch it, will pop up the full system screen, then operate on the screen, whether selling or buying. The small teleportation array on the trading counter can deliver your goods instantly. Lin Yi just felt novel. Online shopping orders, light-speed delivery, and on-the-spot delivery. It was really awesome. Lin Yi put all the junk black iron equipment dropped by the Howling Forest Tiger King and its tiger children and grandchildren under the spirit crystal and scanned them. Soon the spirit crystal gave an estimate. Lin Yi had calculated well before. These equipments could not be sold for much money in the trading house, which was a national benchmark recycling price. Fortunately, after a sky flame dragon breath, there were still more than a dozen pieces of equipment. After selling more than a dozen black iron equipments, Lin Yi's card had more than 10,000 Daxia coins. Then Lin Yi sold all the materials dropped by the monsters in the portable space when he was leveling up before. The most valuable ones were 1 or 2 special materials dropped by the Tiger King. The spirit crystal gave an estimate of 2 to 3,000. The others were basically small amounts. Finally, Lin Yi emptied his backpack, and the balance in his card increased from a few dozen yuan to more than 20,000 yuan. This money was not enough to buy another 24-hour idle skill point reward. Lin Yi planned to see if he could find any good things in the trading house. He searched for the skill books of the mage department. Sure enough, there was none. Lin Yi thought for a moment and soon understood. On the one hand, the drop rate of skill books in low-level areas is too low, and Jiangqing is a super border town with a small total amount of goods. This also proves how lucky Lin Yi was to kill the Tiger King yesterday and drop a skill book. On the other hand, even if it is shipped, many people are unwilling to come to the trading house to sell such things. Just like the wind Spirit Rock Marrow that Lin Yi obtained, it was finally sold to a store specializing in recycling and selling this business. Other professionals, even if they brush out a skill book that they can't use, they must want to sell it for a good price. I really want to buy a professional skill book. I still have to go to the skill book store under the professional guild. There are no skills for the wizard. Then, are there any general skill books? Lin Yi tapped his finger on the spiritual crystal screen and turned on the filter mode, removed the filter option for the wizard profession, pressed the search button again. Soon, rows of skill books appeared in front of him. Primary identification technique. Primary price. 18992 Great Xia coin / book. Lin Yi flipped through the books. He found that there was only one general skill book, and behind these skill books, there is also information about the manufacturer. It seems that this kind of general skills are not dropped by monsters, but they are made by other life professionals of the enchantment and scroll systems. However, the most common primary identification skill book is close to 20,000 yuan, which is also extremely expensive. So how expensive would my wizard's skill book be? Lin Yi had a toothache. Originally, I sold the wind Spirit Rock Marrow today, and I felt that I was a rich guy. I didn't expect that I was overthinking, but even if it's expensive, I have to buy it. If it wasn't for the fact that the wind Spirit Rock Marrow would emit emerald green fluorescence in the dark, I might have missed such a treasure. With the identification technique, at least he wouldn't be unaware of the treasure when he saw it. Especially this elementary identification technique. It's not elementary in his hands. Now there are still hundreds of thousands of skill points to fill it, guaranteeing that it will have no childhood. Advance to the advanced level immediately. Lin Yi gritted his teeth and bought this identification skill book. The next moment, the phone in his pocket vibrated, and Lin Yi didn't even need to look at it. He knew that it was Daxia Bank notifying him that he had become poor again. At the same time, the teleportation array below the spirit crystal in front of Lin Yi lit up, and more than 10 seconds later, a gray scroll appeared in the center of the array. Lin Yi picked up the scroll, checked the properties. That's right, it's the identification skill book. There was no hesitation at the moment, and he chose to learn directly. Ding. Skill book. Primary identification technique was used successfully, and you got a new skill, identification technique, primary. Next, Lin Yi naturally didn't think much. Hundreds of thousands of skill points were smashed down. After a series of ding ding ding, Lin Yi received an unprecedented prompt. Ding. You spent 120,000 skill points. Your identification skill, Grandmaster level, was upgraded, and you got a new spell, identification skill, peak. Ding. Congratulations. You are the first person in the entire Blue Star to upgrade the identification skill to the peak level, and you have obtained a unique reward. Your identification skill, peak, has transformed into a new skill, Eye of All-Seeing. Lin Yi was stunned. What the hell? There is such a thing. I am the first person in the entire Blue Star to upgrade the identification skill to this level. Thousands of years after the Cataclysm era, no one has taken the lead in grabbing this unique reward. Lin Yi has seen the so-called unique reward in textbooks. In simple terms, it is similar to the achievement system in games. Once someone has achieved an unprecedented achievement, it will trigger the unique reward of the Heavenly Tao. Chapter 15's Level 2nd Job Mission. The Death Knight Must Die. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Yi was somewhat happy. There are tens of billions of people on Blue Star, he is one in a billion. No, from a history spanning thousands of years, he may be one in a trillion. Lin Yi soon understood why no one in the past would choose to upgrade the identification skill to the maximum level, that is, the pinnacle of perfection, because there is no cost-effectiveness. Most professionals learn the identification skill to see the attributes and strength of monsters of the same level as themselves, and to see the attributes of natural treasures. There is absolutely no need to upgrade to a high level to cross levels to understand monsters that you cannot defeat, and although the skill points consumed by upgrading a general skill such as identification skill are only about a quarter of that of professional skills, but who would be willing to take out this quarter of precious skill points, not adding professional skills, but adding an identification skill? After understanding this, Lin Yi quickly opened his skill bar, checked this new skill that evolved from the identification skill, eye of all-knowing. Unique. Skill level, 9th level. Type, passive general skill. Consumption, none. Chant, none. Cooling down, none. Effect, when you stare at a target for more than 3 seconds, you will ignore the level difference between you and the target, ignore all the hypocrisy, concealment, and hiding effects of the target, and get all the information of the target. When the target you stare at is a spiritual object or an equipment item that has not been successfully identified, after the identification is successful, you have a 10% chance to improve the quality of the spiritual object or equipment by 1 level. Remarks, insight into everything and experience the universe. Lin Yi was a little shocked. The awesomeness of this skill has exceeded his imagination, and this should be considered his first 9th level skill. It can be said that after possessing this skill, everything in the world must be the most real side in Lin Yi's eyes. Not to mention, this passive skill also has the ability to break illusions and counter hidden. Too amazing. Lin Yi focused his eyes on a professional passing by. 3 seconds later, all the information about this person was completely exposed to Lin Yi: occupation, level, skills, equipment, health, and current status. Even his weaknesses were all clear. Retracting his gaze, Lin Yi calmed down his somewhat excited mood, walked out of the trading house. The harvest of this trip was too rich, the only thing left to do was to take the job transfer task. Daxia Trading House and the job transfer sanctuary are very close, almost just a street away. Lin Yi went straight to the job transfer sanctuary not far away. As soon as he entered the door, a girl came up and greeted Lin Yi warmly. "Hello, professional, how can I help you?" The person who received Lin Yi was a black-haired girl with glasses. She smiled warmly, with her hands behind her back, very well behaved. In fact, she had noticed this handsome guy when Lin Yi just walked into the gate of the sanctuary. There are many professionals coming and going, but handsome guys are rare species. It's not easy to see one, and he's so handsome, so of course I have to come up and chat with him. Lin Yi, I want to accept the second job transfer task. The glasses girl continued to smile, pushed a few hairs on her forehead behind her ears, and continued, "Then please show me your professional ID card." I just changed my job and haven't applied for a formal professional certificate yet. Is a student ID okay? The glasses girl was a little surprised. "Ah, you mean, you are a new professional who just changed your job successfully a week ago?" Lin Yi nodded. The glasses girl was even more shocked. She had never seen anyone who could meet the second job transfer requirements within just 1 week of changing jobs. Her expression was a little uncontrollable. "Have you reached level 30? Lin Yi nodded again. The glasses girl took a deep breath and was secretly surprised. It seems that this handsome guy in front of him has an extremely terrifying family background, although she has never seen a local professional who can be transferred to the second level so quickly in the small city of Jiangcheng. In other larger base cities, especially in some families with extremely deep foundations, it is still possible to rely on resources to pile up the younger generation of the family to level 30 in a very short time. Unexpectedly, this handsome guy in front of him is not only handsome, but also has such a terrifying family background. Unconsciously, the glasses girl stood closer to Lin Yi. Of course, Lin Yi didn't know that the girl in front of him had already made up so many things in his mind. He just wanted to take the task quickly and complete it. Lin Yi took out his student ID. This can prove that he is indeed a professional. Oh, okay, I will help you with the registration procedures right away. Soon, the glasses girl completed the procedures and guided Lin Yi to one of the rooms in the job transfer sanctuary. Walking into the room, Lin Yi saw a blue spirit crystal stone floating in the air again. It was the same as what he saw when he first awakened his profession in school. Touch the spirit crystal again. Lin Yi received a system prompt. Ding! Checking the professional level. Current professional level, level 30, has reached the professional second job transfer acceptance conditions. Start drawing job transfer tasks. Ding! You have received an S-level job transfer task. The Death Knight must die. Task requirements. Please kill the LV.60 world boss, Death Knight Rivendell in a team of 3 or less, and obtain the quest item, Heart of the Dead. After seeing the details of the task requirements, Lin Yi was stunned. It's not that he thinks this task is too difficult, but he thinks it's a bit too simple. Is this the S-level difficulty? A level 60 boss, This level is not even as high as the molten flame demon he summoned. Even if it is a boss, it should die after a sky flame dragon breath bombards it, right? If it doesn't die, make up a few more. This task requirement even allows him to form a team of 3, this is too lenient. I'm crying. If Lin Yi's idea is known to others, they will probably have a lot of complaints, because if they receive a task of this difficulty, they will probably cry bitterly. It may even be impossible to retransform in this life. World bosses are all famous for their high defense and thick blood, because this kind of boss is directly refreshed in the leveling area, not in the dungeon. The boss in the dungeon will strictly limit the number of people, so the corresponding value will not be so abnormal. However, the health of the boss in the wild world is almost 10 times that of the dungeon boss of the same level, because basically this kind of boss will be surrounded and beaten by hundreds of people after it is refreshed. So except for Lin Yi, if any unlucky guy really receives this kind of S-level task, his career path may really end here, because the job transfer tasks are randomly issued, there is no chance to come again. After accepting the task, Lin Yi walked out of the room. The bespectacled lady who had received Lin Yi before asked with a smile, "Mr. Lin, is the task you received difficult?" Lin Yi shook his head, "It's just a so-so." The bespectacled lady clapped her hands, "Yeah, then I have to congratulate you first. If it's a simple task, you should be able to successfully complete the second job. What is the task goal?" "Don't look at me like this, I am the most experienced employee in the entire job transfer sanctuary. I know how to complete many of the task requirements of third job transfer professionals." Chapter 16 Heading to the Land of Death. Wuhu, take off. You are listening at novelfull.audio. To be honest, Lin Yi also noticed that this girl had some unreasonable enthusiasm. As a person in 2 lifetimes, Lin Yi was still very cautious and did not tell the details of his mission directly and easily. He just said lightly, "No need." Lin Yi left the job transfer hall. The girl with glasses was a little sad. Alas, how come such a handsome guy seems to have such a cold personality? Lin Yi walked out of the job transfer sanctuary, go straight to the information library of the Jiangqing Professionals Alliance Guild. With the help of the spiritual crystals in the library, Lin Yi quickly found out the relevant information about this boss. The southern suburbs of Kanglan City experienced a terrible plague hundreds of years ago. Thousands of people died at that time. Later, that area became a restricted area where viruses and plagues raged. A large number of infected creatures and undead creatures are wandering in that area, but there is no breath of living people, so it is called the place of death. The necromancer knight Rivendell, according to rumors, was once the knight commander sent by an empire to rescue the victims. Later, for unknown reasons, he degenerated into the necromancer knight. After every plague and acid rain, Rivendell will wake up from his grave, ride his skeletal horse, and wander forever in the core area of the Dead Lands. Lin Yi read this and learned some basic information about this boss. The boss level is the same as described in the mission objective, level 60, and the refresh point is in a leveling area called the Deadly Land in the southern suburbs of Kanglan City. Lin Yi entered the words Land of Death on the spiritual crystal light screen. The results came quickly. The location is indeed in the southern suburbs of Kanglan City, and the monster level is between level 40 and 50, suitable for leveling up. For second level professionals. What about refresh time? All wild boss have fixed refresh rules. Fortunately, Kanglan is not far from Jiangqing, and the last kill record of the Necromancer Knight can also be retrieved here. World boss, Death Knight Rivendell. Refresh time, 30 days. Last kill record, 9 o'clock on March 15, 3024. Lin Yi looked at the current time and his expression changed. Grass. The last killing time was exactly a month ago at this time. This means that it is refreshed now. This kind of world boss will be beaten by countless professionals, and it is also in the pocket of many big guilds. Many times, those guilds and organizations will set up bosses, kill immediately as soon as it refreshes. If you miss it, you have to wait another month. Gone. Lin Yi didn't want to be stuck with this simple task and couldn't upgrade for a month. The next moment, Lin Yi hurriedly ran out of the archives and went straight to Jiangqing's teleportation hall. In this era, there are only 2 types of transportation that civilians can take, one is to dig underground tunnels and provide high-speed underground rail transit between various base cities in Dacia. Basically there won't be too many monsters and beasts underground, and it can be navigated underground, which can avoid many areas where monsters are densely populated. Security is guaranteed. It is precisely for this reason that most air traffic is extremely rare in Dacia. Even if it does appear, it is mostly military motherships or warships. Finally, the most convenient and fastest one is the teleportation array. Thanks to the dual blessing of spiritual crystal technology and magic, short-distance space transmission has long been popular among civilians, even though Jiangqing is thousands of kilometers away from Kanglan City next door. Using the teleportation array, it only takes a few minutes. Lin Yi took out his mobile phone, bought a teleportation ticket to Kanglan City online, passed the security check, and went straight to the teleportation hall. Just like Lin Yi catching a train in his previous life, the number of people entering the teleportation array in each wave is also limited, and they all checked in droves. Lin Yi followed a group of people and stood in the teleportation array, and then the magic runes lit up. The center of the teleportation array emits a burst of suction force. The next moment, Lin Yi felt like the world was spinning, and he seemed to be sucked into some kind of time and space tunnel. The scenery around him was stretched into bizarre shapes and flew past his eyes. This experience is still very novel, and Lin Yi has a very good sense of balance. Even so, I only feel irritation and no other physical discomfort, but other passengers are different. When the teleportation was successful, Lin Yi arrived at the teleportation hall in Kanglan City. Most of the people with him were vomiting to the point of vomiting. Suddenly, the smell of the entire hall was hard to describe. Lin Yi left quickly. I will definitely not buy a regular ticket next time, at least buy a high-class ticket. Not to mention the teleportation experience will be better, at least there will be fewer people, and he won't have to crowd with these people. Exited the teleportation hall of Kanglan City. Lin Yi clearly felt that Kanglan City, as a fourth-level base city, was more prosperous than Jiangqing in all aspects. But Lin Yi had no time to pay attention to this. He remembered the location of the dead place that the girl with glasses told him before, the southern suburbs of Kanglan City. Wings of Wind is a fifth-level spell of the wind system, and the spells of the wind system have a very short singing time, but with the blessing of divine grace chant, for Lin Yi, all fifth-level spells were instantaneous. Therefore, Lin Yi did not hesitate and used the instantaneous wind wings. The next moment, a strong wind suddenly blew at the door of the teleportation hall. Countless pedestrians exclaimed. The next moment, a pale green wind group surrounded Lin Yi, making him blurred in a shadow of the wind. Others could not see clearly, only an outline could be seen. Countless guards stationed in the teleportation hall and the job transfer sanctuary in Kanglan City saw this scene and all picked up their weapons. Some people even shouted loudly. Lin Yi remembered at this time he seemed to have made a mistake. In the non-leveling areas of all base cities in Dacia, it is not allowed to use skills and magic. Fighting and brawling will be arrested. Fortunately, his skill can hide his identity. However, in order to complete the task before the Death Knight burps, Lin Yi can't care so much. The next moment, a pair of wind wings appeared behind Lin Yi. Lin Yi's mind moved, and he felt that his weight was completely offset to almost nothing under the wrapping of the wind element. He broke free from the shackles of gravity. The wind rose and went straight into the sky. Flying by yourself and flying in the sky with the help of transportation are completely different experiences. It's really cool. Especially the feeling of being able to fly at high speed between heaven and earth without obstacles. Lin Yi was excited in a second. He kept accelerating, trying to speed up to the limit. In an instant, the whole person turned into a stream of emerald green light and headed straight for the southern suburbs of Kanglan. Mom! Look, someone is flying. In the bustling crowd below, countless children pointed at the figure in the sky that was as fast as the wind, clapping their hands and exclaimed. Wherever Lin Yi passed, he attracted the exclamations and envy of countless pedestrians. The Kanglan City security maintenance professionals who had just planned to arrest Lin Yi were all stunned. Damn it. Sixth-turn boss. They just wanted to make trouble for a sixth-turn boss. The Dacia Public Security Management Law stipulates that professionals are not allowed to fly and use skills within the base city. However, for the real big guys, even if they did this, the small fry who were in charge of public security would not dare to say anything. Chapter 17. See the Sky Flame Dragon Breath again. Lin Yi, like a god. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Of course Lin Yi didn't know about his Wuhu takeoff operation. How many people in Kanglan City were shocked. Soon, he flew to the high altitude of Kanglan City, with a wide view above. The entire Kanglan City has a panoramic view, and the appearance of the surrounding leveling area is also clearly visible. Lin Yi could see hundreds of kilometers away in the southern suburbs of Kanglan City at a glance. That area was bare and exuded a dark atmosphere. That should be the place of death. Lin Yi controlled the wind wings and began to fly towards the land of death at full speed. At the same time, in the land of death and silence, the entire dead silent place is not dead silent at the moment. A large number of professionals seem to be approaching the central area like sharks smelling the smell of blood. That is the refresh point of the world boss, the Death Knight. However, they still encountered many obstacles. Thunder Guild has reserved the venue. Please stay out of the way if you are idle. The Shanghai Guild restricted area ahead. Please leave immediately. Countless professionals wearing the uniforms of various guilds stopped any idle professionals who dared to approach the central area and stopped them on the spot, not letting them get any closer. Damn it, your family owns the world boss. Yes, why don't you let us in? The guild member responsible for blocking had a sinister smile on his face. That's right, it's run by our Thunder Guild. Do you dare to come over and give it a try? Faced with such outrageous and unreasonable behavior, countless professionals dare to be angry but dare not speak out. Thunder and Shanghai are the two major professional guilds in Kanglan City. These two guilds often demarcate areas in popular leveling areas. It only provides leveling for members of your own guild, regardless of whether other professionals can continue to level up. Some people have tried to resist, however. The leaders of both guilds are powerful professionals of rank 4 and close to rank 5, and the people under their command are elite soldiers and generals, with a large number of people, so this situation continues to this day. Now is the critical time for the Necromancer Knight to refresh, so the two guilds naturally plan to share all the experience and drops equally. Boom. Boom. Suddenly, the center area of the surrounding line was surrounded, and there was a roar of countless skill collisions. Everybody knows. This is the refresh of the Necromancer Knight Rivendell. The elites of Thunder and Star Sea Guild have already begun to kill the boss, but this time, the situation seems to be a little different, because the sound of those skills colliding soon stopped. Then, black plagues exuding a strong aura of death began to spread throughout the Deadland. For a moment, the professionals from the two guilds who were responsible for guarding the perimeter and restricting other professionals from entering changed their expressions. They received messages from their own guild members asking for help in the guild channel. The situation is not right. The boss is asking for help. Let's get there quickly. In an instant, everyone from the two guilds went straight to the central area of the deadly land. The professionals who were driven to the periphery by them all looked happy. Followed it wholeheartedly. There is one biggest difference between world boss and instance boss, that is the experience points and skill point rewards after a kill, which are distributed based on the kill contribution. The more output you contribute in killing the world boss, the more skill points and experience points you will share equally. In other words, the dropped items will depend on who gives the final blow. Everyone rushed to the center of the dead place. The sight before their eyes made everyone feel that their throats were firmly grasped by a big hand called death, and they did not dare to make any sound. Countless professionals wearing the uniforms of the Star Sea and Thunder Guilds maintained their posture of running away, lying on the ground where the black water of the plague was flowing. Their weapons were broken, their faces were in pain, and they died with their eyes open. He obviously suffered unimaginable torture before his death. President. Boss. Members of the two guilds responsible for guarding the perimeter even saw their own guild leaders among the pile of corpses. This made them even more unbelievable. It's just a level 90 world boss. They have killed dozens of times. How so? The group was wiped out. Before they could think about it, the next moment, the sound of heavy horse hooves hitting the ground came. They saw the culprit responsible for this scene, a heavily armored knight wearing a jet black armor, holding a giant sword that was 4 to 5 meters long, was riding on a skeletal horse with no trace of flesh visible. On the heads of the war horses and knights, blue will-o-wisps flickered in the empty eye sockets. The undead knight Rivendell has become more than 10 times larger than usual. Everywhere he passed, the place was smeared with dark plague water. Run! He he seems to be alienated, that everyone felt the trembling from their souls. According to rumors, both the world boss and the dungeon boss have a very low probability of being affected by the power of the abyss and turning on the alienated state. In this state, the level and skills corresponding to the boss will receive extremely terrifying increases. Many bosses that were originally only level 30 or 40 may reach level 200 in the end, eventually leading to the destruction of the team, or even the destruction of the mission. Run away. Run. Everyone only had this thought. At this moment, the identities of hunter and prey were transformed. The Death Knight who had died countless times under their swords and magic, the dead returned from the grave. The Death Knight Rivendell pulled the reins of his warhorse. The next moment, the skeleton warhorse neighed and stomped its 4 hooves, and the next moment, the undead magic wave spread. The originally dry soil under the feet of countless people was instantly submerged by the endless Black Plague water. In the black water, it seemed that countless dead stretched out their bone claws and grabbed the ankles of all the professionals who wanted to escape. They fell into the quagmire of death and could no longer move a bit. And as the black water rippled, a scene that made their scalps numb appeared. They saw the corpses lying on the ground in all directions. At this moment, the body was infused with the power of the dead. They stood up again, picked up the broken sword and chanted the familiar magic spell, but this time, they fought for the Death Knight. The black fog covered the sky was filled with dark plague acid rain, and the breath of death was extremely strong. Everyone fell into despair. They wailed and cried, but they could not make any sound. The rain curtain covered everything, and the dead land was about to return to dead silence. Just when everyone was about to be dragged into the black water and drowned completely, they suddenly heard an extremely loud dragon roar in their ears. The next moment, the extremely hot feeling completely dispelled the chill of death. The black fog in the sky and the rain curtain stopped one after another. The next moment, the bright orange-yellow flames completely tore the black fog apart. Dragon. A terrifying dragon burning fiercely and emitting endless heat appeared in the sky. The dragon breath spewed from its mouth fell like a waterfall. The Death Knight Rivendell raised his head. In those pupils that were like ghostly fire, there was a reflection of a human figure obscured by the endless gale behind the giant fire dragon above the sky. Chapter 18, Alienated Death Knight, The Advantage Range of Wind Magic. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The plague black water wrapped around the ankles of all the professionals. Under the scorching heat of the dragon's breath, it turned into black gas at the speed of light. It drifted in the air and disappeared. Everyone regained their freedom. They also saw the figure flying high in the sky, like a god. That's right, in their eyes, the person who can use such terrifying magic to instantly dispel all plagues and haze is already their savior. High in the sky, Lin Yi let out a long sigh. Damn, I accelerated all the way, catching up. Fortunately, I caught up. This Death Knight, fortunately, is not dead. The moment Lin Yi saw the Death Knight Rivendell, he didn't think much. He directly smashed down with an instant skyflame dragon breath. He was very afraid that the professionals who were beating the boss below would snatch this head. If you want to talk about which skill of his currently has the highest damage, it is undoubtedly the skyflame dragon breath. Moreover, this skill is very straightforward, without any dragging attack pre-swing. It is just an ordinary dragon breath. It caused a devastating blow. In addition, Lin Yi is not a murderer. His current control over the fire element can even make the skyflame dragon breath destroy all monsters, but it will not hurt those professionals at all. This is why the group of thousands of professionals who fell into despair did not even get hurt under such a terrifying 7th level dragon breath. After the dragon breath, Lin Yi narrowed his eyes slightly. Not dead. Not even much blood loss. This boss is something. Lin Yi was a little surprised. He had thought before that a skyflame dragon breath might not kill the Death Knight, but at least it could hit half of the blood, right? Now it seems that even if he releases a few more skyflame dragon breaths, it won't work. Lin Yi stared at the Death Knight Rivendell, under the influence of the Eye of All-Seeing. Soon his information appeared in front of Lin Yi. Dead Knight Rivendell, alienation, level, LV.200, rank, king, race, undead, health, 9.97 million/10 million, mana, 100,000/100,000. Strength 15,800. Spirit 8,000. Agility 8,000. Endurance 15,800. Active skills: Undead Army, Plague Wave, Undead Sky Slash, Death Grip, Charge, Corpse Explosion. Passive skills: Undead Will, Indestructible Body, Alienation. Weakness: Holy Light Damage. Lin E was stunned, level 200? Wasn't it said to be level 60? How did the level suddenly increase so much? Of course, Lin E also noticed the word alienation on the information panel, but he had never heard of it in the textbook before. What exactly is this mechanism? Well, does it mean an enhanced version of the boss? However, a Sky Flame Dragon Breath only caused him 30,000 points of damage, which Lin E couldn't understand. Fortunately, with the all-seeing eyes, Lin E quickly found clues from the skills of the Death Knight. The problem lies in the passive skill: Indestructible Body, Alienation. Indestructible Body, Alienation. Type: Passive skill. Level 7. Effect: the power of the abyss strengthens your body, giving you an extraordinary ability to withstand damage. All damage other than the Holy Light system you receive is reduced by 50%, and the maximum damage you can withstand at a time is 9,999 points. You recover 5,000 health points per second. This passive skill is a bit against the sky. The most terrifying thing is the single damage, which is less than 10,000 points at most. No wonder a Sky Flame Dragon Breath fell down and only lost this little blood. Even the high single damage of Dragon Breath only caused 9,999 damage, and the subsequent blood loss was only burning damage. After seeing the explosive passive skill of Death Knight Rivendell, Lin E suddenly felt very fortunate. Fortunately, he upgraded the wind magic yesterday, otherwise, he really couldn't do anything with this thing today. Sure enough, compared with strengthening a single system to the extreme, it is still more effective to improve combat power by taking this route of balanced development of multiple systems. Lin E used to dislike wind magic, mainly, it's a bit scratchy. Take the most basic third-level spell for comparison. The 3 damages of the triple flame gun, in the absence of Lin Yi's current attributes and equipment, the basic damage has exceeded 10,000, but the 9 damages of the Wind 9 blades are not even 5,000 points, although it hits fast and hits a lot, but it's really too scratchy. But now the situation is different. When encountering a boss like the Death Knight Rivendell who can withstand a single high damage, the Wind-type multi-stage attack is too valuable. A few minutes ago, Kanglan City, Professional Alliance Building, the hall is still in good order, and various professionals keep coming to consult and do business, but in the conference room, countless senior executives of the Professional Alliance of Kanglan City, at this moment, they are sweating profusely. Can't handle it. Absolutely can't handle it. From the data comparison of all the alienated world bosses in our Great Xia in the past 100 years, the level will generally increase by at least 3 times. That is to say, the level of the world boss in the Dead Silence Land is at least level 180. I have said long ago that once the only world boss around our Kanglan City is alienated, it will be a time bomb. I didn't expect it to come so quickly. All the participants looked ashen. At this moment, the big screen in the conference room was showing the completely alienated Death Knight. No one could come up with a crisis response plan. In the end, the president of the Kanglan City Professional Alliance, who was sitting in the main seat, made the final decision. I have sent a request for help to the headquarters of the Tianhai Professional Alliance, which is directly under our jurisdiction. They sent a 6th-turn professional, who is on the way. But it will take him 2 hours to get from Tianhai to our Kanglan. In these 2 hours, we will complete the task of evacuating the people and resisting the undead army summoned by the alienated Death Knight. If it is not handled well, this will be a disaster for our Kanglan. That the vice president is a bald man. He was stunned when he heard the president's decision to evacuate the people of Kanglan. But, President, sending an alarm now may make the people panic. If something happens again. The bald man didn't finish his words, he was rudely interrupted. If the plague and corruption of the land of death spread to our Kanglan, it will not be a matter of your official hat, but whether you and I will have to work on sewing machines for the rest of our lives. Are you really stupid, or do you want to improve too much? That the old president on the main seat had a cold look in his eyes. The reprimand was merciless. It made Vice President Xie Ding lose face in front of everyone. Issue a Level 1 alert, and then notify the city defense forces to prepare to evacuate the people. Now, do it immediately. As the top leaders of Kanglan City made the decision to evacuate, the whole Kanglan City was filled with shrill alarms. Countless professionals received regional broadcasts. It was exactly the same as the molten flame demon summoned by Lin Yi in Jiangxing before. They had no ability to deal with such high-level and high-ranking monsters. They could only wait for the arrival of the real strong men in the entire Dongjiang province. Chapter 19 The Sky Falls. Level 7 Triple Bombardment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Crying, screaming, and the sound of countless people running in panic. In the originally peaceful and harmonious Kanglan City, everyone became nervous. Most of them had never seen such a big scene. Countless armed and fierce military professionals began to guide the masses to evacuate in an organized manner. When they encountered panicked or even disruptive professionals, they would even suppress them with thunder. No one knew what happened, they only knew that a disaster was coming. Look, the sky in the south. Oh my God! What is that? Among the people who hurriedly evacuated, some people found that the sky in the south was red for some reason and it was about to bleed. Even in the far distance that seemed to be burning, they saw the outline of some legendary creature. Dragon. A giant dragon of fire. The dragon exhaled hot breath, and the impact of the scene was directly pulled to the maximum. Not only the people were stunned, even the military professionals who were maintaining order were all stunned. They actually didn't know what had happened, but now, they could probably guess. Something must have happened in the southern suburbs of Kanglan City. Perhaps it was because of the fire dragon that they had to evacuate the people. Fortunately, the changes in the southern sky came and went quickly. Just when everyone was worried about whether their homes were invaded by some dragons, the fire dragon disappeared and the sky in the southern suburbs returned to normal. It was as if everything they had seen just now was an illusion. However, the next moment, the entire Kanglan City, the wind blew. There was no sign at all. The city, which was calm before, suddenly blew a fierce gale, the wind elements floating between heaven and earth all became manic. Some of the professionals in Kanglan City who had reached the 4th level of strength rode on their war pets and flew into the sky. They could see more things than ordinary people. In the southern suburbs of Kanglan City, it seemed as if a huge vacuum zone or a terrible storm cyclone appeared. All the air currents gathered there frantically. Woo woo woo. Many people's flying mounts trembled in the increasingly terrifying wind. The sky also darkened. It seemed that a storm that had been accumulated for a long time was about to fall completely. Above the dead land, Lin Yi was suspended in the center of the storm led by him. Lin Yi muttered something in his mouth. He was chanting the 7th level wind spell, Jingtao Qian Lanpo. In fact, Lin Yi still had 2 instant casting opportunities, but now that he was protected by the wind group generated by the wings of the wind, the casting would not be interrupted and would not be attacked. He naturally wanted to see how long it would take for him to chant a 7th level spell completely. Even if the chanting was not completed, but a terrifying vision had already appeared in the sky was completely gloomy, the clouds were getting lower and lower, and a large amount of clouds were constantly rotating, forming a terrifying cloud wall that was as spectacular as a tsunami. Like water, air is actually a fluid, under the influence of such dense wind elements. The nature of the atmosphere at this moment is like liquid. When this terrifying cloud wall completely fell, it was the end of Lin Yi's chanting. The howling wind disturbed the sleep of the dead. This behavior seemed to have completely angered the Death Knight Rivendell. He suddenly raised the Black Knight's sword in his hand and pointed it directly at Lin Yi in the sky. From his throat, an extremely creepy roar came out. The next moment, the plague black water that had just been dried by the sky flame dragon breath returned like a wave. Once again, most of the area of the entire dead land was covered. Under the black water, countless limbs, bones, and rotten meat were constantly twisting and reorganizing. Thousands of undead creatures returned to the world under the summons of the Death Knight. This scene made thousands of professionals in Kanglan City who had planned to kill the world boss tremble. It was too dark. Lin Yi's eyes moved. Under the gaze of the all-knowing eye, Lin Yi knew that this was his skill. army of the dead. If he was allowed to continue to summon like this, all the dead who had been buried and died in this dead land would be pulled up by him and continue to fight for him as undead spirits. The more people died, the more undead soldiers he could transform, not to mention, these undead soldiers could even inherit some of their strength and skills in their lifetime. By then, it is not impossible that the entire Kanglan city would become a purgatory on earth. Whoosh! The necromancer Rivendell swung the giant sword in his hand suddenly, and the black light broke through the air. A terrifying undead sword energy slash flew straight to Lin Yi in the sky. This is another of his signature skills, Undead Sky Slash. The power of the slash should be very terrifying. Lin Yi even heard the low humming sound of the air being torn apart by the slash. The wind group defense effect added by the 5th level swift wind wings could not resist such an attack. Moreover, Lin Yi's health was only a few hundred points at this moment. He came in a hurry, so he didn't have a younger brother like Molten Flame Demon to add a shield to him. However, Lin Yi was not panicked at all, because, in his mouth, he spit out the last magic spell, chant, done. Even if it is a 7th level magic, the characteristics of wind magic are still strong, that is the chanting time, which is at least about 1/3 less than that of Sky Flame Dragon Breath, also under the passive influence of Divine Grace Chant, which shortens the singing time by 70%. It only took Lin Yi less than 10 seconds to read this 7th level spell, Howling Wind, Furious Air Currents. There was a moment of pause. This is the last calm before the terrifying storm. The next moment, above the 9 heavens, the cloud wall collapsed. Like a stormy wave crashing on the shore, carrying terrifying power, it fell from the sky. That terrifying undead air-piercing sword energy was instantly submerged in the violent wind in front of the crumbling cloud wall. In the blink of an eye, the power of the slash was completely worn away and annihilated, disappear. Ignoring the professional standing on the ground, he raised his head, seeing the sky seem to be falling. This extremely terrifying scene made my heart even more shocked and frightening. The necromancer is awesome, their life and death actually depended on the boss's thoughts, but now compare, the mysterious boss in the sky is even more awesome. He waved his hand, and the sky fell to the earth. However, what shocked them even more was not just that, in the sky, there is a blurry figure under the wall of clouds. It seemed that he tapped the bottom with his finger again. Next moment, the wind force of the already terrifying storm more than doubled again. Countless people can't even open their eyes or breathe. And, above the sky, the extremely spectacular cloud walls show signs of overlapping. The first cloud wall has not yet fallen, detonating the terrifying power of Qianlan's spell. Already, 2 more cloud walls formed instantly and were smashed down one after another. Chapter 20, Instantly defeat the alienated boss. Rich rewards. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Such a high-level spell, that big shot could actually fire 3 shots in a row with just a wave of his hand. How strong is he? The brains of countless professionals have completely shut down. High in the air, Lin Yi had used up all the 3 instant opportunities he had saved for a day. In fact, Lin Yi is still a very cautious person. He was worried that a 7th level Jingtao Qianlan wouldn't be able to kill this level 200 boss. Then add 2 more, 3 consecutive 7th level spells were thrown down. There's no way you're still alive, right? What if you still don't die? Of course Lin Yi also thought of a way out. Still not dead, just moist. Anyway, if this boss is really so outrageous, he will definitely survive until he can save up a few more days of skill points and use higher level spells to deal with it. He can afford to wait. Moreover, others had to wait 10 years for revenge, but he waited 10 days and the forbidden curse could be added. Facts have proved that Lin Yi was overly worried. The wall of cloud crashed down, the violent wind blade that is bound by magic within the cloud wall slashes away and starts indiscriminately attacking all targets within the range of the skill. It was almost an extremely brief moment. The undead soldiers who had just been pulled up by the undead knight Rivendell had been attacked hundreds of times. The few bones and rotten flesh left on the body were completely smashed into dregs by the wind blade, leaving no trace left. TSK TSK TSK. The modified necromancer Rivendell's defense is also very high. The wind blade cut against his thick armor, making an extremely intensive friction sound. The bad news is that even at the 7th level, Jingtao Qianlan broke the wind magic and still did not violate the ancestral law, and the damage was still very severe. Good news, but shave fast and lots. Lin Yi saw layers of dense damage numbers starting to appear above the head of the Necromancer Knight. These injury numbers are modest, basically, it's 1 or 2,000, and if it's a critical hit, it's only 2 or 3,000, but the frequency of injuries is terrifying. Lin Yi only needed a little calculation to figure out that from the time the cloud wall fell down to the time when the power of the entire magic exploded, it actually took less than 15 seconds. But it caused no less than 4,000 attacks in total. It's just that the first Qianlong break has completely exploded, and the Death Knight, an alienated world boss with a blood volume of tens of millions, is completely disabled. There is less than 1/3 of the health bar left. However, the second and third stormy waves Qianlong broke through did not give him time to recover at all, explodes one after another. This time, Lin Yi directly saw the blood volume of the undead knight Rivendell being emptied by the speed of light, instant kill. If you really think about it, this guy still owes Lin Yi his life. Roar. Hiss. Rivendell's low roar before his death was full of unwillingness, the warhorse under his crotch also whined, its bones completely falling apart, and being cut into ashes by countless wind blades. They met the same fate as those undead soldiers. Ding. Congratulations, you killed the alienated world boss, Rivendell, the Necromancer Knight, and gained 2.2 million experience points. An additional 1.5 million experience points will be awarded for the leapfrog kill. Ding. Congratulations, your output contribution rate reached 100% in the battle to kill the alienated world boss, Necromancer Rivendell. You obtained 2,000 bound skill points and 20 tradable skill point scrolls *5. Ding. Congratulations, you have obtained the special mission item, Heart of the Dead. Your job transfer mission, the Necromancer Knight must die, has been completed. Please return to the job transfer sanctuary to submit the task and complete the job transfer. 3 consecutive prompts sounded in Lin Yi's mind. It proved that this boss, who was so arrogant and energetic just now, was really defeated by him. TSK. Lin Yi clicked his tongue. I obviously feel that the skill points given by this boss are so stingy, just over 2,000. If Lin Yi's thoughts were known to others, he would probably burst into tears. Brother, 2,000 bound skill points and 100 tradable skill point scrolls are exclusive to one person. It's really cool and a lot, okay. Many people have to play dungeons for more than half a year to earn this amount of skill points. Lin Yi slowly descended from the sky. A boss of this level will drop a lot of good things after killing it, right? Sure enough, after Lin Yi landed, he found a large number of gleaming golden equipment where the Necromancer Knights had been standing. One of them even shone with platinum light. In addition, Lin Yi also saw 2 skill books falling to the ground. Another skill book dropped. Lin Yi had learned before that even if it was a world boss, the probability of dropping a skill book was very low. In other words, if you kill the alienated Necromancer Knight, the drop rate should be much higher, but he didn't expect that there would be 2 copies in one drop. In addition to equipment and skill books, Lin Yi also found that this product dropped a lot of materials that were very rare just by looking at their names. These materials should also be sold for a lot of money. Lin Yi picked up all the treasures on the ground, then he looked around. The group of professionals that Lin Yi had noticed at high altitude before, under his deliberate control, were not injured under the influence of Jing Tao Qian Lanpo, but even if there is no injury, the continuous attack of the 7th level wind magic still made most people unable to withstand the brutal force, and they fainted due to difficulty breathing. Well, this is a relief. Otherwise, if these people were still awake now, seeing that he had taken all the rewards dropped by the Death Knight alone, they would inevitably be jealous. At that time, a series of bloody plots of killing and grabbing treasures would be involved. Now it is much easier, the mission is completed, the treasures are picked up, and there is no reason to stay here. The wings of the wind are used again. Lin Yi flew into the sky and his figure quickly disappeared. Just a few minutes after Lin Yi flew away, 2 streams of light flew from the horizon. One of them was wearing a full set of red armor, with a burly and strong figure, and his whole body was full of fighting spirit, which looked extraordinary. The other was wearing a light green robe, with white hair and beard, and looked quite immortal. What's going on? The red-armored strong man blocked his eyes with his arms. the fierce wind made it difficult for him to adapt to the environment in front of him. The sky and the earth were vast, and there was no trace of the alienated world boss. Chen Feng was completely confused. He was the sixth-turn warrior who came to assist Kanglan City in dealing with the alienated boss. The old man beside him was one of the 3 strongest people in Tianhai City, with a strength of 7 turns. It was easy for the 2 of them to deal with a boss that was close to level 200 after the alienation. However, Chen Feng never thought that they would fly at full speed. After arriving at the southern suburbs of Kanglan, not only did they not see the boss, but they saw a terrifying storm that was still raging. That's right, even if Lin Yi had left, and the main power of the spell Jingtao Qian Lanpo had already erupted, but just like the permanent trauma of Tianyan Dragon Breath to the Howling Forest, 3 Jingtao Qian Lanpo made this dead land no longer dead. It can be foreseen that if there is no external influence, from now on, this area will be hit by strong winds of level 10 or above all year round.